Not really having much to say about Bridge Guy in the case of Libby and Abby, their murders in Delphi about 3 years ago. 1 year ago, there was the press release where law enforcement, they put out the cleaned up version of Chappie walking across the bridge in his daggy blue jeans and his parka and his cap, and they released some more audio. And since that time, people like Image Analysis and Detection have put out better audio and imaging. And I just wanted to see what you guys thought, because for some of this time, I'm in two minds. I know now, I think what law enforcement have been saying is, well, this is our person of interest. And it just seems to me then, why isn't he found if he is indeed someone that's in the town, and not, say, someone transient like someone like John Kelly profile I might suggest. And it just reminded me of when I was a young child and living in a country town. Okay, so I'm quite a weird adult, and I was an extremely strange child. And very frosty morning, one morning, I'd put on gumboots and raincoat, and I'd gone up into some paddocks above the town. My street was sort of on a hill heading out of town toward the interior of the countryside. And when I say town, I mean it's one street and there were 500 people in the surrounding area. So off I headed, and I went up to the paddock owned by a neighbour who lived across the street from me, but the part of a farm that they had was up the road. And I saw a young steer called Julius lying on the ground, and this was a pet steer of a young lady, a child a couple of years younger than me. I didn't really know what I was seeing. I was quite naive. I had not lived in this country town for too long. I also knew I didn't know if I was supposed to be there or not. And I was also very socially awkward and shy and weird. And I didn't have confidence. I don't do things that I would do now. Like now, I'm an adult who acts when I see things, and I'm an adult who gets involved. And I didn't know what I was looking at, a dead animal or anything. I thought Julius was lying on the ground. I didn't realize I might be looking at a dead or dying animal. I wasn't quite sure, though. It made me feel queer, but what made me feel weirder was being there. And I went running back down and back to my home, and I think I went inside and probably had breakfast and then went to school or did whatever I did on the weekend. Maybe it was a Sunday and we went to church. This is just before I stopped going to church, and Catholic church. And then I learned later how distraught my young friend was and her family, because her animal was dead. Julius had died and probably had, bloat from clover, or I'm not sure. I don't know how he died. I don't know if I could have saved him if I'd alerted. But they were saying how they'd seen this weird figure up there, and it was very distressing for them. And this is something in my life. I've been, various people have had sightings of me when I'm out doing something completely normal, or I'm doing something completely weird, just being on my own and doing weird things, and then they'll say they saw someone weird. But, it just made me think, look, I had absolutely nothing to do with the death of Julius. I think he was already dead. I'm pretty sure it was, but I didn't go and say anything. I didn't know if I'd get in trouble. And with Bridge Guy, this guy, at first I was thinking, well, is this just someone? He was there. He can't say that he was there and saw these girls. He doesn't want to be investigated. Maybe he was there for other reasons and doesn't want to be investigated. Who knew? But, it's sometimes these things are such that we are afraid of circumstantial evidence. And people say, well, if you've got nothing to fear, but, often there are things to fear. There are things to fear from doing polygraph tests. There are things to fear from being investigated, even when someone is completely innocent, But, I don't know about this bridge guy. I'm a bit confused, actually, about the sound and the image. But I think what I'm understanding now is that the sound and the image are from the same person, and they were on Libby's phone, the phone that the perpetrator or perpetrators was did not take. Haha, thank goodness. But yeah, I do think about things like that. I mean, there's plenty of reasons why people won't speak up. There's plenty of reasons why someone having an affair with Barry Morphew allegedly or possibly, or, whether that's likely or not, wouldn't speak up. There's plenty of reasons why, just say bridge guy was there and there at the time on the bridge, but isn't the perpetrator. There's plenty of reasons why he might not speak up. Me as a young girl was up in a paddock where I felt like maybe I shouldn't have been. It wasn't my property. I've seen something I shouldn't. I wish more than anything now I could have just run back down, gone over to the home of my friend and said, I've just seen your cattle lying on the ground, because maybe I could have saved his life. I don't know. I mean, I think he'd died in the night. He looked pretty stiff and bloated. But, there's many reasons why people don't act. There's the car in the car park. In this year, has there been anything at all about the car in the car park? The name that I can never remember that I said at the start of the video, image something and something and something, they think it might be a townsperson, but it could be a transient person, and that could have been their car and they could be long gone. But if it is this townsperson, WTF, come on, law enforcement. You've got to be able to get something else on this person. You've got these two young girls' bodies in a place where they've been laid, which is possibly very unusual, the way that they were placed, who had done what to whom. You've got so much forensic evidence. You've got recordings. Get your shit together. Where is the arrest? And is there no arrest because this is just all a wild goose chase for a townsperson or something? I don't know. Anyway, I thought this was going to be a minute and a half. It's 8 minutes 25. I've got to walk my dog. I've got to go to work. So thanks for listening. I don't know. I should record this again. Speak to you later.